Okay, Scott, let's jump right in and start off with the obvious question.
All right.
On a high level, what exactly is a cost segregation study?
Yeah, well, the perfect place to start, Andre. So a cost segregation study is a technique that accelerates depreciation from the future. And what I mean by that is it really doesn't create a new deduction, but what it does is it borrows from potentially decades down the road. So when you purchase or construct real estate, often you have to basically depreciate it slowly over 27 and a half years if it's residential property, even as long as 39 years if it's non-residential property. So a cost segregation study doesn't create the deduction. We're pulling those deductions forward for the time value of money savings. And we do that by going into the building and pulling out various components. So the building itself is more than just four walls and a roof.
So Scott, that's a great lead in. So what are some of the components of the building?
So yeah, that's really where the art of the report comes in, right? So we can either, starting with the interior, as you walk into a building, oftentimes there's going to be removable flooring like carpet. There could be millwork, built-in cabinetry, built-in shelving, movable partitions in the office space. The office itself is supported by electric outlets, internet, cabling, all those sorts of things that are used to run those office equipment, we can assign costs to and depreciate faster. As you move into the warehouse or manufacturing side of a typical building, inside of there that might have specialized electric, reinforced concrete floors, really the sky's the limit. So that's where the art of the study comes in.
So staying on the benefit topic, what is the typical benefit of a cost segregation study?
Well, there's exceptions to every rule, but I would say our average study generates an allocation away from the building of between 17 and 23%.
Okay, so in that situation, if a taxpayer were to purchase a, say, $1 million building, the study would generate about $200,000 in accelerated depreciation?
I'd say that's a good rule of thumb, Andre. And again, it all depends on how specialized the building is. So think of it this way, if you had an apartment building that had 100 plus units, that's a significant amount of kitchen appliances, kitchen cabinetry. There might be a common building there with a pool. All that will help generate a greater benefit for that particular piece of property. On the other side, if you have a commercial building that's used for specialized manufacturing processes, and it has reinforced concrete floors, very high voltage electric, those sorts of things, and that also can help maximize the study.
That's great to know, Scott. So for our last question then, who is the ideal candidate for a cost segregation study?
All right, so I typically look at that in like a three-pronged approach. First, the purchase of the building and or the construction cost should probably be at minimum $500,000. And that's because the average cost of a study is about $5,000 and you want to have enough cost benefit for it to make sense. The second piece is really what is the long-term plans of the taxpayer with the building. If they plan to flip it within a couple of years or maybe do a sale leaseback, dispose of the property in the not too distant future, then the cost benefit may not be there for the study. It's really better suited for those that want to hold the property long-term. And the final piece really comes down to what will an accelerated depreciation deduction mean for a taxpayer and their tax return. So oftentimes we might set up the entity separately from the business that holds the real estate. That activity could be passive to the taxpayer. Well, passive losses have specific rules before a taxpayer can deduct them. So we really take a holistic approach to make sure that the taxpayer is going to receive the ultimate benefit.
That was very insightful. So thank you for your time, Scott. For those of our audience members who would like to learn more, please go to barnesdennig.com.